Hi, welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith. In this video, I want to give you an overview of a 2 to 4 player game that quite surprised me when I first saw it, and I think will be of interest to some of you as well. This is designed by Riot Games. They're best known for their video game League of Legends, which you'll find printed here on the side of the box. But this is not a recreation of League of Legends for your tabletop. This just happens to be made by them and set in the same universe. Instead, this is Mechs versus Minions, and I'll have a full instructional video teaching you exactly how to play this game, and I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. But here I want to take you on a tour of the game's components because I think the production here is very noteworthy. And that's not the sort of thing I would typically cover in one of my tutorial videos, so I want to do that here and try to give you an experience similar to what I had when I first encountered this game. So let's grab our wrenches, crank open the box, and take a look. As I take you on a tour of this box, I will talk about some of the gameplay as well to give you a sense of that. But I first want to mention, this is a very sturdy box, which is important because it's heavy. It's got a lot of contents in it. And I would ask you, try to ignore the gleaming plastic that you see underneath. I first want to bring your attention to the documents on top here. In the game, you'll cooperatively be playing as Yordles, who have built your own mechs and are in training to use them. And this note from Rumble, the headmaster, welcomes you to the trials ahead. Now, if you've never played League of Legends, if you're thinking, I don't even know what a Yordle is, don't worry, none of that information is required to play the game. But if you do know the lore, then you'll be able to find some Easter eggs sprinkled throughout the game's production. Moving on, we have the tutorial document, and this will teach and get you playing the tutorial scenario. Our first how to play video will also cover all of this, so you can skip this book if you want to. Next, we have a field guide, and this has further details on other rules that you might come across. You can look them up here and get their details. It's all organized alphabetically. Under that, you'll find a player aid, and this goes over the steps in a round of play. And now we get to the real nuts and bolts. Okay, where to start? Let's begin with this top tray, and avert your eyes, no sneaking ahead. We'll get to that in just a moment. Most of the components in this game are sealed within their own custom molded plastic casings that include snap-on and off lids like this one. In other words, you can really shake the box around or put it on its side like you saw me do earlier, and know that the next time you go to play, the contents aren't going to be just a big jumbled mess. Another feature about these inserts are the slots that hold the many minions you'll be battling when you're playing the game. These come in different poses, but each of the slots for the minions will accommodate any of those poses, so when you're putting things away, you don't have to find specific spaces for them. Here's a closer look at those minion figures. You'll notice they have a bit of paint on them as well to help make the details pop, and these are the primary enemies that you'll be battling during the game. In the first tray, we also find the 2 custom rune and regular 6-sided dice. You also get tokens for tracking various in-game effects, and in case you're wondering, yep, these are custom metal tokens. And I should mention, nothing that you're seeing in this video is part of some special edition of the game. These aren't Kickstarter upgrades. This is what's just included in the game itself. There's also 4 plastic crystal shards included, and these have slots cut into the top of them to fit the minions as required. Okay, with the first tray done, let's pull out another element. Here we have the 4 characters the players will be assuming the role of, the 4 Yordles. These come fully painted and stand about 2.5 inches high. And again, because they have their own custom molded case, you don't have to worry about the paint getting chipped during storage. In the next layer, we have another tray of minions. Now, not every game will use all of these, but I like to set the tray on the table and just pull out the minions as needed. And you might be wondering, do you really need this many minions? Well, yes, and then some. We can even see there's some extras here on the next tray for a grand total of 100 minions in the box. But of particular interest, here we see the top secret dossiers. After you complete the tutorial, it will instruct you to open one of these sealed envelopes, and it will contain the instructions for the next scenarios you'll play that work together to tell the ongoing story of the campaign that they create. As you beat one, you'll be instructed to open the next, and so on. I won't spoil any of their contents. Mine are already open because I've been playing through the campaign, and they'll include not just the unique setup and objectives for a new game, but often other extra rules and unique cards to unlock and mix into your game, changing how they play out. I should also mention that we'll have short videos for each of these scenarios explaining how to set them up and any new rules that are introduced. If you want to check those out, I'll put links to those in the description of this video as well. And those hidden elements I said that are in here that sometimes get mixed into your game as you play, those are clearly labeled. So when you finish the campaign, you can separate them out and reset the campaign to play again. In fact, this final document here will provide you with some new challenges to try when you play through the campaign again. Going back to the box, yep, there's more. Underneath here, we're going to find these command boards and command cards as well. Let's take a closer look at those. Each player will get one of these command lines, and I should point out, they're a nice thick cardboard as well. Over the course of the game, each round, a few of these command cards will be placed out, and then players will take turns selecting some to program into their own mechs. You'll then execute what you've programmed into your board from left to right. These commands will let you move, rotate, attack, and if you slot the same colored effects into the same space, well, you'll upgrade the powers, giving you even better abilities. So while your mechs start each game in quite an underwhelming state, you'll all work together to create highly optimized machines to perform the way that you want them to. But things won't always go exactly the way you'd like them to. This is Zonia's Minute Glass. This is a custom sand timer that is also the first player marker, and after the tutorial, you'll need to start this 1 minute timer, and that's how long players will have to work together to each choose the commands they want to collect at the start of a round. Not only will this reinforce the need to work together well, but it also prevents players from having an endless amount of time to puzzle over the best options. You'll take damage in the game as well, which is resolved by drawing from this deck and then resolving the indicated effect. In this case, it tells us that we need to swap the commands found in slot 3 and 4, which is going to change how our mech performs. Other times the effect is ongoing. For example, this one says that not only do we have to rotate our mech 90 degrees, but then you roll a die, and based on the value you gain, this damage is then placed in that slot. Not only does it disable the ability you had there previously, but now it forces you to resolve this ability each time you resolve your command line. No matter how much damage you take, you're never eliminated from the game. Your mech just starts to get a little more and more unwieldy. There are ways to repair damage in the game though, so you can remove some of these effects or change the order of things you've already programmed. The game also comes with really thick, double-sided boards to create the various areas that you'll do battle in. This command board will track various elements of the gameplay, and there's also some additional tokens as well, like this compass, and an area that represents your school or advancing lava. When I first opened the box, you probably noticed this one as well and wondered, well, what's inside? And I'm not going to tell you. This actually comes sealed when you get the game, and you don't unlock it until the third mission after the tutorial scenario. Now, I'm sure there'll be some sites that spoil the contents of this, and I'd love to show it to you, I really would, but I think it'd be more fun for you to be able to discover it on your own when you're playing the game yourself. Oh, and you didn't hear this from me, but there might also be one other component hiding under the final tray. But again, I'll leave that for you to discover on your own. Once again though, I'd advise waiting until the game instructs you before you go exploring under the tray. If you watch my show regularly, you'll know I don't review games. I prefer to teach you how to play and let you make up your own mind about whether or not it would be a good fit for you, your family, or your game group. But I can say, this is a beautifully and carefully thought out production. There's not one bit of wasted space in this entire box. Of course, the game is much more than its components though, so watch my other videos to see if the gameplay would interest you. But I would like to personally say, I know we've seen popular brands slapped on components and pushed out to market with little regard for the effort required to actually create a game that people want to play again and again. And while I wouldn't pretend to know if this game is something you'd enjoy, I feel comfortable saying from my own discussions with the designers that this was created by people who have a personal appreciation of our hobby and just happen to also be in the video game industry. If the game already does interest you, you might be wondering, well, how much does it cost and how can I order it? First, it's $75 American, and you'll be able to order it direct from the Riot Games website in October 2016 when it officially releases, which I'll link to below. There will be extra charges for shipping based on your location, and those approximate costs I'll list in the description below as well, but check the official website for the most up-to-date numbers. Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed the tour and found this informative. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to put them in the comments below, and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. But until the next episode, thanks for watching.